Hi, Cancer. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy now whenever you find this, Cancer. All right. I'm so happy to be here with you. If you are new here, my name's Raji, and this space is called Opal Oracle. Welcome. And of course, if you're returning, welcome back. All right, Cancerian energy. Okay, so before we go into your cards, and we'll go month to month, everyone received the 4 words if you've been here for a while, but this time it was 4 groups of 2 words. And yours kind of made the story. Maybe you can think about your own as well, but you have walking stick, spiderweb, soft knowing, and gentle breeze. Which honestly to me are all really soft, beautiful, right? I guess you're walking through the woods too. And since there's spiders, it's not a winter year for you. This is more of a... Well, I'm seeing it more like late summer, early autumn, which is a really nice time, right? It's not too hot, it's not too cold. It's like the 3 little bears. It's like you're trying to find the just right. And the walking stick is helpful because you can get things out of the way. It can help you get up a hill. You can get the spider webs out of the way if it's really blocking you, right? Spider web is also creativity. It's reflective. It's patient. Very talented, very artistic, perhaps for some of you. Hi, Kat. Hi, Zimi. And the soft knowings and the mental breeze, although the knowing is mental, I am also... The soft knowing was an emotional feeling. That it was more of a feeling that was felt, the knowing. And then the gentle breeze is also, I'm seeing this as like your mental space being more relaxed. And one last thing before we jump in your cards. I feel like your relationships with other people is really going to be beautiful. Some of you definitely meeting new people, connecting with others. It's very loving. Again, perhaps while you're outside also, out in the world, or through what you do. Alrighty. Let's try to at least start the first one. Let's do 310. January. Cancer. The Lovers and the retrograde card. Great. Well, this is perfect timing to talk about this. So, Venus will be in retrograde in January. I think it's the end of December through January. So, this first month is a wonderful time to go over, anything you need to fix in love, or forgive, or change. Of course, it's generally not generally it's not a time to involve yourself in anything too serious, to anything too major, right? At this time, you want to wait a little bit, maybe till, couple weeks after it starts moving forward. Retrograde in the Lovers. I guess in ways of work, this could be previous, maybe it's previous clients you've dealt with, or like previous, it's your regulars, you know what I mean? You're connecting to regulars. You may see someone you haven't seen in a while. It'd be like, wow, how you doing? Wow, how you doing? Which is cool. I like that. I like the energy that's coming off of this. It's not like going back into the past and having too many questions, although I do see that you are holding some sort of position of authority and excuse me, Actually, Libra received this last year, but it's like, what is love? You know, so maybe this is, but this isn't just in a romantic sense. It's like overall, but I guess that's a part of it too, is what maybe you want to really gander back if you have a little, you know, little personal time to some previous relationships, and then putting that in the right. It's my favorite bird. One of them. Favorite bird song. Hi, little finch. So anyway, this is wonderful. I guess an old lover could come back if you were something like that too. But I feel like it's more of a process that's already, wherever that's at, it's like something has completed there. Wherever you are I feel like is a really good place. Okay. Let's see, February. Cancer. Okay. The solar eclipse and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Well, 2 majors right in a row. Oh, wow, big one. I don't remember offhand the solar eclipses. I'll include those. Thank you for reminding me. Excuse me. Let me make a note of this. Gotta do that sometimes. Include eclipses. They help. Although I realize something, if the sun and the moon are in control of our eyes, then we probably should close our eyes during eclipses, right, and be really still. So, well, if a solar eclipse is about change, right, an eclipse is a big change, and having courage in that, right? Again, it's the sun and the moon. It's like I feel confident. I feel loving. I feel ready, right? I feel brave enough to, etc. With the Wheel of Fortune, well, this is showing great acceptance and change. I also see this as, because it's a solar eclipse, I'm feeling this more, the sun energy is more of a positive. Although, of course, it depends where you are on the path, but I embrace the change, whatever it is, and realize that I mean, you just had the retrograde card with the Lover's card, right? So this is going over old contracts and sorting things out, right? Putting things in the right places. And then from there, when things start moving forward, now Venus is moving forward, which is about money and love and beauty and etc. Maybe you'll be feeling better about yourself too. And perhaps even you may have to distance yourself from something. But I heard it's not because you don't care. It's like you're... Well, I just saw someone in a bubble of light. Okay. I guess we'll have to leave that there. That's a big one. Oh, work could be really good in this time too. There's a lot of determination to change. So if you want to change anything, this is a wonderful time to do it. And I guess since we're in Aquarius time, it could be Capricorn Aquarius time. Then this is a serious, future-focused, aware, responsible choice, right? It's not this isn't a juvenile choice, whatever this is. It's a big deal, and I heard it matters a lot to you. Let's see about March as you move along. Ooh, Lilith and the King of Pentacles. What's that about? Or maybe some of you have been working so hard that you've been denying yourself a little bit of like fun and freedom. Again, the last two cards were pretty serious, right? You were going over things, you're figuring out the change. It was like responsible. Look, another card on that Lilith, the Four of Pentacles. Lilith and Taurus, what does that mean? Let me tune into that. She's not something you can just put in a book, you know what I mean? You can't define it that easily. I feel like your reading feels like I'm trying to get all the information out super fast. We're in March, right? So, let's just slow down. King of Pentacles, let's just slow down. And, slow down, right? Well, I see do what you can, but do it as slowly as possible. Lilith is also about intuition, right? She gives us visceral, they say that she gives us like visceral reactions to things. You usually like hamburgers, all of a sudden someone you're at a barbecue, someone hands you something and you're like, it smells funny or it looks weird and you're like, I'm not eating that. But everyone, everyone else is just mowing down on it, not paying attention, and like you're like, trust yourself. Excuse me, please trust yourself. You don't have to explain it. You can just, maybe there's something, again, you have to, wherever you are, whatever you're connecting to, be slow in that so you can really feel it in your, both of these cards represent a lot about the body. I would say there could be a little bit of repressed sexual energy here for some of you. Or again, you've been working if some of you have been working so much, putting your career before your relationships or something like that. Not that that isn't a relationship, but the more of the intimate Lilith freedom of expression here. Well, I guess then you need to check in with if you have any repressed desires. And I do see as Lilith is very independent and the King of Pentacles is about great stability and success, right? He has everything. It's the King of Earth. You have everything that you need. Maybe a part of that is, okay, you have all the fundamental, physical, tangible things that you need now. And of course, but then there's a question of like emotional security. But it's almost more of you loving yourself. Now remember, Pluto is opposing your energy. And so you becoming, and it's interesting, and we're red for you too, it's like you becoming really solid in who you are, in your own opinion, right? You can be as sensitive as you want, but you also have to be aware that you're an individual in the process. Interesting month. I feel like we could keep going with that, so I would definitely take some time to sit with sit with something, and then I saw someone opening something up. And then this is where there was like cobwebs, there was spider webs, and you got to you're getting the, you're knocking the cobwebs out of the corners, you know what I mean? Let's see, April. Okay, 7th house, there's Venus, and the Two of Swords. Okay. 7th house and the Two of Swords. Well, here's your twos again, which are talking about others and choices, right? Both of these cards are about others and choices. Cooperation, right? In some kind of capacity. I guess this is a time of organizing. It's also a time of, well, I heard realizing who's on your team. And like what needs to go and what can stay. There's something like you're filtering through something. But the decision comes from, it could be financial for some of you, like going through things of this nature, but it's also like you deciding from your own value system is what is going to reflect your feelings of how you feel about what's going on with other people. And also a little bit of where you've been. I guess you're still, this is kind of an, if there is any major decisions you're trying to do, this could be business, could be personal, whatever. This is something, well, I guess for some of it, you may have to have a difficult conversation. It's not overly crazy difficult. It's just something needs to be put on the table. Like someone asks for a raise, or someone points out that they haven't gotten a raise, or someone points out that they haven't, you know, they're wondering why someone is distant, or they're wondering like what's the next step with something. And so you want to figure out again in yourself, like, where are you at in that? You know, what are you desiring? Because we just tapped into Lilith, which is again a very independent choice. But you want to choose out of love. And you have to figure out what's making you happy or not, too. Something like that. I do feel like you're filtering people also. Like, I'm a promoter, for instance, ding, 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 side note. I'm a promoter that anyone can reach a level of anything they want if they really focus. I mean, of course, we have our fate, but we also can have a lot of freedom within that. But there are friends, there are frenemies, and then there are enemies, right? And we have to know the difference. Now, can we all be friends? Is it possible at some point in our life to everybody be all together and friendly and loving and have conversations and figure things out logically and lovingly? I believe so. In this lifetime, I don't know. But if each of us did our own thing, then I feel like this is kind of the concept of it, is like you approach a situation in that way versus like you did this and you didn't do that. Like if someone's projecting that at you, no. And again, there could be filtering. Some of you, this could be like more, there's space with something, but it's a healthy space. You need that. All right, let's keep moving. April, May. Oh, Uranus and the Knight of Swords. Well, that is a major big whoom energy. Holy moly. Phew, phew, phew. You got all the ideas. You have all the problem solving. You're like, oh my God, I figured it out. Like, your mind is going so fast. You have so many ideas. So many ideas. Let's see here, May. I guess this could be a lot of communication, a lot of like emails, telecommunications, things like this, letters, whatever. Text. Oh, okay. Because this is so fast. I actually saw someone like typing really fast on a keyboard. The board of keys. Make sure, remember we had that reading November where it was like, okay, even when you're really excited about something, right? You're like, yay! Like, so, hi, honeybee. Please make sure you come back in your center where you're like, set an intention before you jump in, because I feel like this gives you more momentum to go to the next step. And I saw where you had climbed a hill, got to the top of it, you could see another hill, like you could see another point in the future where you wanted to go. It was like a direct line. But it seems closer, than it actually is. It's not out of reach exactly, but you'll need your energy to get there. And so also make sure that you're grounding yourself, because this is heavy mental energy. This is where the soft knowings are actually really, they're almost like harder. But this is also a resolve for a situation. It's like you have epiphany after epiphany. It's like there's so many signs or signals. You're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's see what happens. Yes, please remember to ground yourself. Take off your shoes, right? Put your feet on the earth. Turn off your internet. Turn off your phone, right? Give a little bit of that, especially if there's a lot going on personally with work, whatever. You want to make sure. And I would see, I don't know what Uranus is doing in this time, as I can recall. But this is total problem solving. It's awesome. It's awesome. You maybe there's some sort of great discovery, too. I see you know what's right, you know what's wrong. This also relates to who's on your team or not. Maybe that's another thing, is if you take that space and time, right? If you are trying to figure out something of what is worth your time, then you really figure it out. May. Let's see, June. Yes, you do. Vesta and the Heirophant. Holy moly. How spiritual and beautifully elevated this is. Faithful, dedicated, devoted. This is June. Wow. Wow. Vesta and Taurus too. Very creative. Very creative energy. I guess there could be a conversation with someone where you're talking about the difference when people define things differently. Like someone's like, well, this is this, or I believe this, and someone's like, well, I believe that. And even though the foundation is the same, there's differences upon that. So it's also being open to the dedication. This is also, Vesta is usually a group of women around, tending a fire, and there's one male in charge, and they respect that, right? Or there's one male and a lot of females. So you can actually, side note, ding ding, astrological tidbit, is if you ever go into like an establishment or a family where it's like the father and a bunch of daughters, or like you go into a little, mom and pop shop, and it's like there's the owner of the place, and then he has all female employees. He is really strong. They have a really strong Taurus when that's the case. Or Vesta, excuse me. Probably Taurus too. Interesting. Okay, so this is just, I guess it's a little bit too, I see it again, like spiritual, religious, which I guess is Sagittarius and Pisces, has a little bit to do with May, June. Interesting. May has to do with January. June has to do with February. This is also Taurus time in sidereal, which is actually really beautiful. I almost feel as if there's some kind of devotion coming through your 5th house also, which is about creativity. It also is helpful to ensure that choices are made correctly, right? Lovingly, spiritually, godly in a way. Like you're trying, like I guess there's a like spiritual or religious choice in this time. In some kind of way, this is what the foundation is of something. And I do see great devotion to something. And whatever you've been working on the last 5 years, this is a big deal. Absolutely. You had this card before, right? 6 of Pentacles, which is about, in one way, being rewarded for what you have given of yourself, right? That's what Vesta is about. That's what being, a servant of God even is like. And actually, I read the other day, which is so interesting, that, people say, oh, I'm trying to find my calling, or like, I'm trying to call in this. A calling is actually your vocation. So please know that whatever job, which is that you are given in this life, the jobs you are given, they are a part of your spiritual journey, whatever they may be, right? Wow, that's a really, I don't even know what else to say about that. It's a big one. It'd be good to have a fire on sometime in, like a small fire with a group of people around. Or at least a small fire would be helpful. Something like that. Okay, July. Okay, Gemini with the 3 of Swords. Well, this is something old. Maybe your siblings, there's something going on with your siblings, or there's something going on with your friends. Maybe one of your friends or somebody like says something. This could be you too, but I'm seeing this more towards you. It's like, it's the way you feel about what somebody said. It might trigger you in a kind of way. Like, yeah, perhaps. But 5 of Cups, 3 of Swords, to me this is old. Gemini is also children, so this is, I guess your children could also be giving you a hard time, or you could be feeling like that. Maybe some of you, they're growing up, or that you're realizing that you're not in, like, I don't know, there's a difference there. But I see if anything actually comes up, let's see. Okay, you had the 2 of Swords, now you have the 3 of Swords, so, and you just had this beautiful, spiritual, dedicated space, so maybe a part of it is where you, whatever that is, and it's not to judge anybody who has a different religion than you, or believes in a different God, or sees spirituality as something, whatever your standing is in a invisible stance. Of course, I see no judgment on anyone else for theirs, whatever that may be. But if there is none, then maybe that's the thing, is where you're like, you realize it's not about, I heard, it's not about this, it's about that. And because of that, maybe you have to cut ties with something, with one of your friends. Didn't we talk about that before? Like with a friend or with an acquaintance. It could even just whatever it is. And I guess if anybody you know is going through a hard time, I split to the Five of Cups again. Let's see. Maybe there's something too where you really want to help someone in this time, but you just can't. Cancer. It's not your it's not your deal. I guess that's the whole, like, you got to give something to God. Okay, let's move along. August. Aquarius with Death card. That's a big one. Well, you change your mind about something. Change your mind about something. This goes back into that Uranus situation. This went back into May, right? And February. May and February. So you are making some significant changes in this year, but I do feel like it would be helpful if they are just sort of, there's, again, it's supposed to be a soft knowing. And that May was a little bit like, I know this, I know that. There's a lot of, so no need to jump too fast, because you have some space and time in between. And let's see. August. This is also Aquarius square Scorpio. So what are we talking about? Again, I feel rushed again unnecessarily. Like, you'll get through it. You don't have to rush. I guess this is another epiphany time. I guess wherever Aquarius and Scorpio is in your map, there's something about that's, because Scorpio pulls Aquarius, right? So, and Scorpio rules Pluto, which is opposing you. So, I hope you're following. So, the more you know what love is in yourself and you to this life, then the less scared you are. And the more you are able to communicate. I guess you could need to also share some of your knowledge at this time, share some of your wisdom at this time. But it's not about being too intellectual about it. It's sort of like a soulful knowing. But again, I see it's important for it to be soft. I guess there could also be someone that you know that passes away, or there's someone that you know that is going through something. They're going through a really big transition, okay? And so maybe you can be, I saw the word consoling. Let's see September. Saturn in the third house. Oh, let me back up. August is also asking you a question like, what do you know about death? Or like, what do you know about... Because whatever you think about change is what you're probably going to look at death. And death is a direct reflection of how we deal with life. And to me, you are the darkest. You are the moon that controls the underworld, you know? And so... and since the moon rules the mind... And we're talking about the third house. I guess you could have some kind of dark thoughts in here. And there could be a lot of expression of like, again, thinking about certain things. But I see that, I guess you could be thinking about work, you could be thinking about money, you could be thinking about what you're connected to, whether that's healthy or not. I do feel as if it would be wise to take a couple moments before you say anything. Saturn in the third house represents speaking slowly, right? The information coming in is taken with reserve in a way, right? Little bits at a time. I saw someone stuffing the hamburger all the way in their mouth, or taking like ripping off a little piece of the bun and then like eating it. You know what I mean? Like, take your time with something. I'd also say there's a big difference here between thinking and feeling. So be sure where that's at. And if you think that something, what is this about? Well, I guess your second house is so emphasized this year. So if you know what that is, pay attention to it. This also represents in a fundamental sense your own value, your talents, your bank account, spiritually, financially. It is the second tier of you. You know, it can also represent your face. So, and I guess I would also look at your Saturn. That would be helpful. And then I see the words capacity to relate. Capacity means that there is training needed to be able to be a part of something. It's not just like an ability where it's innate. Like, capacity is you have to practice, right? So maybe also being patient. There could be also other people that are having kind of like, this is a nice time, I guess, to think about the shadow too. But I see, be careful of information that you're taking in, because it could put you in a dark spot too. And I guess what other people say, your neighborhood, your environment, etc., there's something about that where you're like realizing that you're independent of that. You're never a prisoner to anything, right? Reins or chains. This is Cancer's choice. So yeah. October. There we go. Ace of Cups in the Virgo card. In sidereal, it's actually Virgo season. Awesome. Okay, so we just went through death. You have so many majors. The Lovers, Wheel of Fortune, Heirophant, Death, Devil. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we go to the Ace of Cups, which again shows an emphasis of loving something spiritual, right? Loving also, Virgo is also about health. Now, of course, mental, which you actually have more air than you do anything. Air kind of energy, which again, make sure this is a soft breeze, not a hard wind, right? Could be sometimes, but it doesn't. Mercury, yes, but it doesn't have to be, right? So this is someone saying I love you. This is someone maybe offering an apology. Justice. This may even be romantic for some of you. Or again, where you aren't even paying attention. You're just like doing your own thing, and all of a sudden someone's just like, hey, do you want to go have a drink? Or like, hey, like there's something new here. Some of you also, if you are on a kind of in a more spiritual, I guess, space, we always are, but if that's your focus, right, because work was the focus, and then spirituality was the focus, or healing, what have you, and then it's like this cup is behind you, like, hey, are you paying attention? So I guess you have to get out of the house or go into the public spaces to be able to meet whatever this is that's trying to greet you and gift you. And so I see be open to things. And maybe remember you just came out of a little bit of a shadow in your head, or you were dealing with that in some kind of way. So you had to go take some time to think. Now you can come back out. Where the Hermit goes up the mountain and then back down. I have to split this up. I'll be right back. Okay, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October. Let's see, November. Awesome. The Empress and Capricorn. Fabulous. There's another major. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 majors now. Okay. So things are becoming more grounded, right? I feel like there's a lot of growth wherever Capricorn is in your chart. Nature is also a protector. Nature is a protector. I also see, you could be thinking about your mother, or like you as an elder. So you're thinking about someone as an elder, I guess is the point. Maybe some kind of compassion here too. If your mother is alive, I see she's getting older. So, or what have you. There's elders here again that are helpful and perhaps even need your help. So be of service where you can. I would also say that this is a beautiful harvest too. It's like whatever your harvest was, I feel like is good, especially you working through what you had before. Because you're trying to relate better. Do you know what I mean? Or trying to find the common ground, or mend the holes in the stitches. Put pretty stitches in. When you're not afraid, and you realize that you are loved by that which, well, that you are loved. When you are not afraid, then you realize you are loved. And I saw the words best interest, justice. I feel like you are rewarded for your hard work. You are also safe and loved and protected here. This could also be one of your children, somebody's birthday. This is also Venus in Capricorn too, where this is about a dedicated, long-term, loving, reliable relationship. You know, not that there isn't hard times, but that it is, you know, I see that there's nothing threatening you. You know what I mean? That you're safe again, loved and protected, regardless of the changes, because it's a gentle breeze, right? I heard even in the whirlwind of chaos of the mind, you control the breeze. Do you know what I mean? January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Wow, full moon in the Chariot. There's another seven majors, and here's your 7. Wow. So you just jumped 4. So you're definitely being rewarded for your patience also. Your patience this year, your conscientious choices, your wanting to go to this, to forward, right? Wanting to, not backwards, wanting to take what you have and share it. Also see someone comes to save the day. Could also be where some of you decide to move, or you're deciding this, like you're understanding that you have to go to a new place, right? The full moon is about completion. Chariot is, well, a lot of things, but I'm seeing it as like the moon, and then also your neighborhoods. Maybe some of you also need a new car, or you want to feel solid, I guess, in where you are. And yeah, 10 of Pentacles, awesome. And I see wherever you're going, or I guess whatever you're letting go of or completing, remember that this is giving you a lot of options. So again, you don't have to like haul ass to the next place. Continue this too, right? Again, this is about your own intuition. It's about your own patience. It's about knowing what's real or not. It's about relationships it's about situations and relationships and choices that are fair, honest, respectable, right? They're able to be made logically and practically because they're spiritually and emotionally sound, right? They're calm there. And so because of that, decisions are made with, I heard, great promise and stability, right? It's not too shaky. Good girl. Wow. I do feel like there's an old relationship that you're also working through, an older space that you're working through this year with all these majors. And so I see that you're guided. Your strongest months, according to majors, are January, February, June, July, or June, August, September, November, December. So you have these groupings, January, February, because I guess you have to, by the end of the year, you come more into yourself too. This full moon, it's like this is your domicile ruler, right? Your energy is now bigger and brighter, right? I see the harvest is good. There are great blessings. You because of your achievements, because of your capacity to also want to train yourself to keep things steady, right? Because like I told you in November, and I loved that reading so much. It was so beautiful. And you were with Virgo, which I just feel like is such a beautiful, quiet, calm place, but when you are when Cancer is in a good mood, and Cancer feels safe and loved and protected wherever it is in your map, the whole world smiles. The whole world shines. It really does. Yes. Yes. So please remember that you are loved. Okay? And that your efforts matter, your kindness matters. And where you came from, that all matters too, because that brought you here now. Right? Yes. And although at times you may feel distant, right? That can happen, but you are part of something really great, you know. Your participation matters. Absolutely. With that which you connect with and that which you are willing to let go of, because that's important too, right? Especially the past is very important to, you know, filter softly with Cancer, or this, whatever you're dealing with there, because it's a very sensitive space. Wow, the end of the year is so awesome. So you start with the Lovers and then you go to the Chariot. Where and how are you spending your time? Check in with that. Like, what are you putting your focus towards, you know? Because I guess that's what you'll achieve. Yeah. And if you've, because there's this strong connection of other people too, romantically, interpersonally, what have you, it's like, really, what are you wanting there in your relationships, in your community, in your family, in your lover, in your spouse? What are you wanting there? And in this day and age, we all have an ex, so however you feel about that, that's important. And I saw something about loving again in like a new layer. But I guess you got to pick your head up to be able to see it. And then I see again, we talked about this before, I think, but it was like, look your best. Yeah. Speak your mind, right? Wow. I love you, Cancer. I hope this reading was of service. Of course, it is always a pleasure to connect. Hi, sweetie pie, Zoomy. Aww. Yes, it's always a pleasure. Happiest New Year. I do hope this is a wonderfully free, connective, loving year for you. For all of us, you know? Where we see each other as family, and we create together and dine, you know, like dine. I saw people at a table like gathering together, and it's a really beautiful thing. For the right reasons, you know, for good reason. Yes. I wish you the best. I've decided it should be in the description box too, where I'm going to break up the months, so for a future reference. Yes, you'll be able to have that information, as this is a future focused reading. Maybe that'll help you as you go along the path. I do hope this did. Of course, as this is a yearly reading, you know, you do have majors here, so there are things that you can't necessarily avoid, and that's a good thing, because this brings, yes, this brings the change and the courage and the faith that you need. And also I heard the awareness and wherewithal that, again, people have their fate, right? But there's so many choices that one can make within that. And what conversation really are you having in your heart? Or what conversation in your heart do you need to stop having? I heard it could be about your mother, it could be about your sister, it could be about your father, it could be about your lover, your ex-spouse, what have you. And it's not to say that it's not a part of you, whatever all these things are. It's just, what do you want to put your energy and focus on now? Right? Yep. Eight of Pentacles, Nine of Cups. beautiful angel in the sky waking people up to realize that, life is magical and beautiful, and the human isn't in charge. There's definitely something else, for the most part. Like, there's something bigger and greater, and that's a beautiful thing to know. I mean, we can't explain it. I don't know how exactly, but it's helpful to know it, right? And to realize again that even though there are things that are sort of well, how do I want to say this? Work on your happy. Work on your learning about how you're happy, and then how to share that happy. And Scorpio, you pull Scorpio's energy, right? So they actually had good choices. And I'm seeing these as this, good choices. So maybe that could also be helpful for you. Yep. And again, I see it could be where this year you may have to, decide who's really your friend, or who's really on your team again, or what you would like to happen there. Because, for instance, if you really don't like somebody, you don't get along anymore, you don't connect anymore, then it doesn't feel right to you anymore, then you don't have to tell them what they did wrong. You just have to make better boundaries, or be honest that, like, hey, this isn't working for me, or, I found something that's more suiting, or what have you. Or just being honest, again, like, no, I don't want to do that. It doesn't feel right to me. And being more honest in this space. I feel like you're pretty honest with the positivity. It's just be strong in the fact that you can share that too, because you may have to, again, sometimes, for instance, in our chart, it can even show where, what show up as our friends sometimes are our enemies in a past life. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a concept here. And now I'm not saying this is ultimately the case, but you got to know. And you'll know through your own intuition and how that's feeling inside, and then what the conversation is with that which you connect with that's higher than you, that does not look down upon you. Do you know what I mean? You find these 3 points, and this makes this brings something all together. So you also feel safer as you go along too. Do you know what I mean? I love you, Cancer. Please take care. Long yearly reading, but it's for you. I'll talk to you next time. Thank you so very much. See ya.